So I'm sure that everyone knows by now that at 3 airports, Uber drivers are going to set their own rates. Now I want to know how many drivers knew that you could actually set the rate to 0.1 times the rate that Uber would charge, effectively going 10% of Uber's base pay. And let's say that this program is a success and doesn't change and rolls out everywhere California-wide. I think that a lot of you are going to become very well acquainted with Murphy's Law. And for the folks that don't know what that is, it's this: everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Now I know I keep saying this repeatedly, but I think it bears repeating because for some reason it doesn't kick in with people. When huge corporations make changes, usually it's to CYA. They want to cover their butts from something that could probably cause them to lose a lot of revenue. I also keep saying, never think that these people are dumb. Let's take a look at a few news stories. I'm not even going to bother reading through these. I'm going to leave the links below so that you can read them for yourselves. But we're returning to a market that essentially killed Sidecar. Let's take a look at a few interesting sentences in a few articles that really stand out. Uber said on Tuesday it is testing the feature at 3 California airports, Santa Barbara, Sacramento, and Palm Springs. Drivers can charge more than the base fare Uber would otherwise charge riders, but only in multiples of 1.0 to 5 and in increments of 0.1. Drivers will be allowed to set fares lower than the base fare starting next week. That definitely means that you can take steps back. If you don't believe me, there is an article on a blog where there are screenshots that you can take a look. Now let's take a look further down the article. You have to pay attention to what people don't say because that's going to tell you a lot more than what they've actually said. Since AB5 has gone into effect, we've made a number of product changes to preserve flexible work for tens of thousands of California drivers, an Uber spokesman said in a statement. He declined to comment on whether Uber's latest move could cause drivers to undercut one another. You can see that by not saying anything, he's essentially saying yes. And in this article from Mashable, I want to point this out. Competitor Lyft is also affected by AB5 changes, but declined to comment on Uber's pilot pricing scheme. Although Uber's just testing out set your own pricing for drivers, its approach is similar to smaller, competing ride-hailing apps like Bid to Ride and Russian company InDriver. But instead of the riders bidding on prices like in those apps, it's drivers setting the fare. If we click that link and we take a look at this bid to ride thing, you can see that it promises a lot, and I love how they keep using this guy's picture to represent the average driver. However, if we go and take a look at how it's doing, it doesn't look like it's doing too well. There's only 7 reviews, and this guy pretty much says it's trash. There are plenty of desperate people out there that for one reason or another need money, and need money quickly, and those same people are not willing to go the criminal route. For that, I applaud them. But now we've given them the option to set their rate at half of what the base fare would be. So you could theoretically see how a $3 ride to a hotel 1 mile away from the airport can now turn into $150. But that guy's gonna keep rolling, he's gonna keep getting hits and pings left and right because he's going to be undercutting people extremely bad. But let's say you're in a place that's not totally slammed like LAX. Let's say you're in one of the larger cities but not that large. The guy that's willing to go ahead and do multiple short trips and remain steadily busy for half the rate is going to get more hits than the person maybe waiting 2 times, 3 times the set price. And I'm not saying that out of imagined statistics. There's a definite online precedent where you can watch the free market at work. Take a look at eBay. You can find items that originally cost $1,000 new selling for $30 with $30 shipping after 14 bids, driving the price up from 99 cents. Now think about what percent of $30 is to $1,000. There are people like that out there in every sector of business. And of course I do feel bad because this is how you have to see it from a big business standpoint. Even if the poor rates drive a lot of the veteran drivers away, there is no shortage of people attempting to sign up. And if you talk to enough people, you know that there are people out there that will undercut each other. On top of that, drivers colluding between each other to set a floor, to set a base rate, is price fixing. Now I know a lot of us drivers have a goal, and for whatever reason, it's at the end of a certain checkpoint driving for Uber or Lyft, and you have to tread carefully. Because the biggest mistake that you can do is underestimate how much thought these companies already put into a game plan. I'll talk about that in a future video because that's a little bit more techy and I'm still acquiring more information. It's all about making those beautiful connections. So guys, I hope you go out and you meet your personal goals for the day. If you're leaving for work, stay safe, be good, do well. Let's go and make some money.